Hi there, welcome back to Selenium Ninja. Today we have another session of interview questions, and this time we will be looking for the commonly asked interview questions based on 2 years of experience in Selenium. Let me just tell you one thing, these questions are based on personal experience. So I have given 100 plus interviews, and these are some of the questions which were commonly asked by the interviewers, right? So there is no guarantee, but it's great if you are aware of all those questions. So let's get started. The first question is how to create a dynamic XPath. In order to do that, I have created a dummy functionality which can be used in order to create a dynamic XPath. Multiple interviewers shared the same type of text over the meeting chat and asked me to create a dynamic XPath. So there was no UI involved, right? So before creating a dynamic XPath, let's look the syntax for creating a XPath. We have tag name, then we use the brackets, and we use attribute and value. So this is a syntax which we must follow in order to create an XPath. So now we are creating a dynamic XPath. That means the value is getting changed after some time, or in case a user refreshes the page, the value is getting changed. We have two attributes, one is the class attribute and another is the name attribute. The class attribute contains special characters and the spaces in between. So it is not the right practice to create an XPath or any locator when it has special characters and spaces between them, because it will be constantly changing. So our main focus will be on the name attribute. But there is a condition. The search part is only remaining constant, and 1 2 3 4 the numbers are getting constantly changed after some time or when user refresh the page. So how we can create a dynamic XPath? We will be using the keyword called contains to create a dynamic XPath, right? So let's create it. Double slash, tag name is input, brackets, the attribute we are using is uh, name at the rate of name. So before writing the attribute, we have to use the contains keyword, right? So this is the syntax for contains keyword, and use parenthesis. Now the functionality needs to be inside this parenthesis. So what we are trying, we are taking the attribute called name, comma, single commas, we have to paste the value. So what is the value that is not getting changed? The value that is not getting changed is search. So we will be copying this and pasting it here. So your dynamic XPath is ready. So it doesn't matter they if there is anything additional rather than the search keyword, that will also be accepted, because we are creating an XPath based on some constant value that's not getting changed. So here we go, you have the dynamic XPath. So guys, nowadays many interviewers are like focusing on XPaths, right? So try to get some good practice on it. The second question is write the code for explicit weight. The interviewer will ask for the theory part first, but eventually they'll tell you to write it down. Defining what is explicit weight, I have already created an video. For the reminder, explicit weight, like it is something you are telling the script that wait for some time until you find this web element. So there is some web element that takes some time on appearing on the UI. So you are basically getting the locator of that element and then telling the script to wait for some time until uh, you see this web element on the page. So the syntax for this is, you just need to copy the syntax. So this is the syntax for it. WebDriver is the wait, WebDriver wait, and it takes two arguments. It takes driver and duration of seconds. I think from Selenium 4 it was changed to duration of seconds. Otherwise, it earlier we used to just mention the seconds only, and it used to work. So the WebDriver wait has a method called until unexpected conditions. Like it is easier when you use any ID like Eclipse or IntelliJ in order to create in when you are writing the script. So just remember for now, this is the correct syntax for writing the explicit wait. Moving ahead, the question is write code for scrolling a page in Selenium. So there are two ways. There are multiple ways for scrolling page in Selenium. So one of the first ways is to create to scroll using the xpath. No, sorry, using the JavaScript executor. So sometimes what happens, the normal scrolling does not work in Selenium because of some JavaScript elements or code. So for that we create an xpath of the element, and then based on that xpath we scroll the pages. So for that you have these two syntax. So you just need to copy and like learn the script, because that's the only thing you can do, because the interviewer will ask you to write it on the notepad rather than any IDE or Eclipse or IntelliJ, anything. So they will ask you to type it in the notepad or something else. Moving ahead, how will you work with multiple tabs? So if you are following my playlist, I already have created a video based on how to handle multiple tabs or windows on Chrome browser. If you have not checked out that video, please, I'll be sharing the link in the description box. It will help you in your career from zero to hero. You will handle tabs or windows like a pro. The episode number 16 is. I'll be sharing the link in the description box. Right. So this question means, if for example there are multiple windows or tabs open while executing the script from the Selenium from any browser, for any browser, so how you will iterate from the parent window to the child window or to the subchild window, right? So this video will clearly help you. So I'll be leaving this question because the link will be in the description box. What is the return type of getWindowHandles? So the same question, another part of the question is uh, what is the return type? So the return type is set for the getWindowHandles. Why is it set? You can check it in the video. It's clearly explained in the video itself, right? How you can handle broken links in a web page, right? Suppose there are 300 links in a page and you need to identify which link is working and which is not. The link which is not working is known as the broken link. Now the first method is like clicking manually on each link and checking whether the link is working or not, but this is not a correct way in Selenium, right? There should be some functionality. So before answering this question, whenever we hit a URL, it receives a response code. If the URL is successful, it receives 200. If the URL is not successful or any other issue came, it like returns some response code like 404 something else. So there are a lot of API response codes that come. So in Selenium we have a method called open connection, which basically is used to check how to deal with broken links. So as I mentioned, there is a response code coming while hitting the URL. We will be exactly focusing on those response code when it comes to answering this question, right? We will be taking help of one class called HTTP URL connection, right? It is a Java class basically, which will help search the connection between a server. So when we click on the link, it will send a request to the server and the server will return some response. So we will be capturing the same response and we need to verify the same. So if the response is 200, that means the URL is successful, and if there is any other API response, that means there is some problem with the URL. So I hope this video will be helpful for your future interviews, or if you are currently looking for a job change. Please continue supporting this channel. The great content will be coming soon. Take care. Thank you.